Hey, good morning, everybody. I apologize. I don't know what's going on. When I try to present my PowerPoint or my Google Slides, my screen just goes black. So you're going to have to see what's on the side, and we'll just kind of talk, and this is just kind of what we're going to have to do, okay? So we are in Plate Motion Chapter 1, Lesson 2. And we're going to be kind of just introducing the whole unit of plate warm-up, or of plate motion. We're going to go ahead and do the warm-up activity first. So I'm going to have you guys pause, and you're looking at this picture here. And basically, it's just asking for your information. What do you already know about fossils? So go ahead and pause the video and complete that warm-up, hand it in, and then start the video again. Okay, so we're in activity 2 now, introducing Mesosaurus. Fossils are like time capsules. Scientists use fossils to better understand what Earth was like when that fossil formed thousands or even millions of years ago. We're going to watch a video about a real life scientist who's investigating fossils to tell the story of Earth's past. And actually, I'm going to have you guys who are absent, it doesn't play very well over my screen recording. So when you come back, just ask me. And I might even see if I can download the video and put it in today's folder. If you see that video in today's folder, that means I was able to do that. Go ahead and watch it. It's actually really interesting. This guy is a curator of a museum, and he's studying fossils. And there's one fossil in particular that is just really, really, really fascinating. And so I want you guys to watch that video. I'll try and get it into Schoology. So as you watch the video, I want you to think about these 2 questions and see if you guys can come up with answers. So the first thing is, what kind of evidence does Dr. Wilson use in his research? And then also, how does his research help us learn about the geologic history of Earth? So as you watch the video, go ahead and try and answer those questions. All right, so hopefully we can talk about this when you guys get back. It introduces our unit question. So the phenomenon, the unit question for this entire unit is, why are fossils of different species, why are fossils of one type of species that once lived together found in different locations on Earth now? So if you remember the questions on the pre-assessment, there was a question that kind of said, hey, there are these fossils that are found on 2 different continents. What happened? How did they get there? And that's kind of what we're referring to today. You guys have a new role. You are now student geologists. And so the phenomenon, the kind of storyline that we're following in this unit is from Dr. Bayard Moraga. He's the lead curator from a museum of West Namibia. And I have to tell you, this is a fictitious place, and he is a fictitious person, but all the data we have and everything we're going to be looking at is actually real data, okay? So it is real scientific data. It's just that we're kind of setting this up. Amplify sets it up to make it useful for middle school education. So we have this email from Dr. Moraga, and it says, we're lucky to have a fossil specimen of Mesosaurus, and there's a picture of that Mesosaurus fossil. Mesosaurus, by the way, was a real reptile. So they have this fossil to display in their museum. The fossil remains of this organism were found in hard, solid rock near our museum in southwestern Africa. Fossils of Mesosaurus that originally lived at the same time and in the same place are also found thousands of kilometers away across the Atlantic Ocean on the eastern coast of South America. So if you can think in your mind's eye, I've got a picture later on of the 2 countries, or the 2 continents. We've got Africa, you've got South America. This Mesosaurus lived during one time period and only really in one place. And so how is it that we've got them on 2 different continents? This is puzzling because the ancient animal could not swim, not very far anyway. Why are Mesosaurus fossils found in South America and Africa, continents that are now thousands of kilometers and an ocean apart? We're building an exhibit to answer the question for our museum visitors, and we need your help to do so. So this is our anchor phenomenon. This is what we're going to try and resolve. We're going to dig in, use lots of different, like we've got a computer simulation that we're going to be using later on, and we've got some evidence cards and different articles that we're going to read. So we're going to really dig in and see if we can find an answer to this question. In this unit, you'll use your understanding of geology to explain what happened to the rock that the Mesosaurus fossils were found in, and why the fossilized remains of these reptiles that once lived together and now found so far away from each other. To begin, we're going to read an article to learn more about what scientists already know about Mesosaurus. And so I'm going to have somebody in class airplay that for me. You guys have the article in your lesson 2, activity 2. So just go ahead and stop this video, take a minute to read the article, and then come on back. All right, so let's think like geologists and consider Dr. Moraga's question. Why are Mesosaurus fossils found on continents that are now thousands of kilometers and an ocean apart? So here's a great picture for us to take a look at, and you can understand the conundrum because Africa and South America are so far apart, but we find the fossilized remains of Mesosaurus on both continents, and just really trying to understand how that could happen. So our chapter 1 question is, what is the land like where Mesosaurus fossils are found? So the first thing that we have to kind of maybe consider is, what's the land like? Where are Mesosaurus fossils found? And we're going to jump over to activity number 3. In order to kind of really understand what's going on under the surface of Earth, we need to find out about something called cross sections. And remember, when scientists think of Earth as a whole, they think of it as a system. And so it's a set of interacting parts forming a complex whole. The Earth system is made of parts called spheres. And so, of course, we're looking at the geosphere. But remember, the geosphere is affected by the hydrosphere, atmosphere, and the biosphere as well. By the time you leave class today, you're going to be able to answer the following question. What is the land like underneath Earth's surface? One way scientists learn more about Earth's outer layer, and I think I've got the vocab word there, but if I'm not, I'm going to come back and explain to you what I mean by outer layer. One way scientists learn more about Earth's outer layer is to use large drills to collect samples of the land below the surface. And so if you guys notice, this guy right here is looking at something called core samples. And so if you look at the pictures down below, you see like a land drilling, you see a ship drilling, and you see ice-based drilling. And what happens is they take this very, very sharp tube, and they just drill down, and they end up pulling up these cores, samples of what's going on underneath that thing. So from those core samples, scientists can then make special visual representations called cross sections. If you're looking at land drilling, look right underneath that. You've got like soil, you've got kind of dirt, right? And then you have kind of like that gray thing. And we're trying to figure out what that is. The same thing when you look at the ship, it's drilling. The first layer is going to be water, but then there's like that kind of sandy sediment kind of stuff that's at the bottom of the ocean. And then it goes to that kind of gray thing. And again, we're going to find out what that is called. And then the same with ice base. So you could get a layer of ice, a layer of water, a layer of sand and sediment, mud maybe. But then ultimately, it's going to go down to that gray. And so what is that? That's what you guys are going to look at. The vocabulary word cross-section. This is a diagram that shows what the inside of something looks like. If you remember on your pre-assessment, there was a picture of an apple that got cut in half. That's a cross-section because you can see what the inside of something looks like. So when you look at this, that cross-section is the view that we're seeing right underneath the land drilling, the drill ship, and the ice-based drilling, those kind of layers. that would be called a cross section. It helps us see what exactly is going on. And that's represented in the core samples that the scientists pull out of those tubes. All right, so in activity 3, there are 4 articles, and I'd like you just to kind of skim over those real quick. I think there's actually some questions that you may answer for those. I want you to read those articles. They're pretty short, and it just kind of explains what the different layers are. And specifically, remember, I want you to be able to answer the question, what's underneath Earth's surface? Okay, so go ahead and read that real quick. We did it together in class. I broke the kids up into groups, and each group read one article. I'm sorry, unfortunately, I'm going to need you to read all 4 articles. They won't take very long, but just kind of skim them real quick. And remember the question, what's underneath? What's underneath? What's the very bottom layer underneath Earth's surface? All right, so together as a class, each group shared what they learned. And basically, we learned that Earth's outer layer is made of what? Hard, solid rock. In fact, no matter where the drilling site was, once it got down underneath the surface of the Earth, so whatever is sitting on top of the Earth, so like water sits on top, right? It doesn't go all the way down to the core. And ice sits on top. And even the sand and the sediment in the ocean, that's on top. Once you go down below that, you get hard, solid rock. And so, what is the land like underneath Earth's surface? I hope you say, underneath the surface of the Earth, the land is made, or the Earth's outer layer is hard, solid rock. Here's that vocabulary word, outer layer. Outer layer is Earth's outermost layer of hard, solid rock that is underneath the soil, vegetation, and water. So if you were able to sort of pick up everything off the surface of Earth, it would just be covered with hard, solid rock. Think about Mars. There's no vegetation, there's no liquid water, there's nothing on Mars. It's just all hard, solid rock. Same with all the other rocky planets. There's nothing else there, it's just hard, solid rock. Earth is unique in that we have vegetation, we have water, we have liquid water, we have soil, but underneath that, it's all hard, solid rock. So we've got our first key concept, and I will have that, I'm going to have that key concept graphic organizer for you guys, and you can put it in your good notes. And the key concept number 1 is Earth's outer layer is made of hard, solid rock. Go ahead and pause the video and get that written in onto your good notes. That graphic organizer is in today's folder also. Copy that into your folder. That is the plate motion folder in your science folder. Okay, so I am going to ask the kids to do the homework today. So go to lesson 2, activity 4. And it says for this activity, you'll show what you've been learning by using a pencil or highlighter to shade the regions where Earth's outer layer is made of hard, solid rock. You have this map, and really all I want you to do is shade it where it is hard, solid rock. And that's it. Go ahead and hand that in, and when you are finished with that, we're done for today. Let me know if you've got any questions, okay? Take care.